Congressman Kasich had actually personally spoken to two of the pension funds here in Ohio.
We thought that was probably the case. We also think there's more information that is not yet known, and that's one of the reasons that we are asking the congressman to be more transparent, to make himself available to the media for more thorough questioning, and to release his income taxes for a number of years. Because we do think that it is highly likely that there is more information than has already been revealed about the congressman's advocacy for Lehman Brothers with entities here in Ohio.
And I take it from your remarks today that you don't believe that the pension losses were solely attributable to the economy as a whole.
Well, I think a lot of pension systems lost money, but the evidence is very clear. The leadership at Lehman Brothers cooked the books. They were manipulative and, I believe, unethical in their dealings. And more of that is coming out, and so this is an example, I think, of a culture that existed, that the congressman was a part of. As I tried to point out in what I said, if you take the fact that he worked for Lehman Brothers for 8 years and doesn't even have that currently listed as a part of his biography, I think that in and of itself is an indication that he is not proud of those years and that association. But they happened. He was a part of it. He did get what I would consider a fairly large bonus in 2008. I think it's important for the people to know what his bonuses were in the years leading up to the collapse, as the company was engaged in these very questionable financial dealings.
Governor, the counter-argument here is that Ohio exports have increased under some of the trade policies that you're attacking today,
sure.
Have led to the creation of jobs. How do you respond to that, or how do you balance that with what you said today?
Well, by saying that I'm certainly not opposed to trade, I think trade is essential. And what I'm opposed to is what I think we've had and still have too much of, and that's a trades arrangement or arrangements that are out of balance. I recently, a couple of months ago, went to Washington and testified before the Federal Trade Commission regarding the fact that China was dumping steel products into this country that was detrimental to our steel industry because the Chinese government was subsidizing those steel products in an unfair way. Thankfully, the Federal Trade Commission agreed and has imposed tariffs on China, and as a result of that, let me tell you what's happening in Ohio right now, in large part because of that Federal Trade Commission decision. V&M Star is investing $650 million in Youngstown. U.S. Steel this year will be breaking ground on 2 facilities, one a facility of about $400 million in Leipzig, Ohio, and another about $250 million in Lorain, Ohio. And just last week, I was in Trumbull County at the ribbon cutting of a new operation there, which will employ 120 workers making tubing or pipes for the oil and gas industry. I question whether or not any of those investments would be made in Ohio if it were not for the decision of the Federal Trade Commission. But what we have now is a situation where it is very difficult to go to the World Trade Organization and get a fair hearing. Their operations are done in secret. The right or the ability to appeal decisions are very limited, so the trade deals we have need to be seriously revised and improved. That's why I voted against NAFTA. It wasn't that I was against trade. I felt like NAFTA was a bad deal. That's why I voted against granting China most favored nation trading status. It's not because I'm against trading with China. It's because that gave China a hugely unfair advantage and it cost us jobs. And that's why I tried to compare what Wall Street wanted with what I did during my years in Congress and the advocacy that I continue even today.
Governor, in response to your first ad and kind of your line of attack, the congressman's basically said he can't talk about his own record, all he can do is attack me. What's your response to that reaction, that you're just attacking him because you can't talk about your record?
Can I give you a two-part response to that?
Okay.
I'm here talking to you every week on multiple occasions. I make myself available to the media to answer their questions. I travel across this state on a weekly basis, interacting with people in large cities and small towns. So I continuously make myself available for questioning about my record. I think the people of Ohio, whether they agree with me or don't agree with me, have access to me and to answers from me. What I have found out is that Congressman Kasich tends to insulate himself from the kind of questioning that I'm going through right now. And so that's the answer to one part of your question. The second part of your question is the ad that I put up is very factual. I would challenge anyone, including Mr. Kasich, to find one iota of falsehood in that ad. I simply said he voted for NAFTA. I said he voted for a special trading status for China, which he did. I said he worked on Wall Street, which he did. I said he made millions of dollars working for Lehman Brothers, which he did. Those are facts that are indisputable. Now, if he considers that throwing mud when all I'm doing is informing the people about his record, then perhaps he should rethink his past behaviors. You know, it seems to me that if a person gets upset when someone is just talking factually about their record, maybe they should examine their record.
Governor, Ohio has double-digit unemployment under your watch. Do you feel like you've done enough to preserve jobs and help companies create jobs?
Never done enough. That's why I continue to keep trying and keep working. It would be foolish to say that any of us have done enough as long as unemployment remains high. That's why creating jobs is my #1 priority. I work on it all the time. But I do believe that there are signs of economic recovery. Yesterday, I was in Lake County at the Steris Company for the announcement of a new $11 million investment creating 300 new jobs, which will bring the total employment of that company to well over 1,000 here in Ohio. This company started out as the result of a $48,000 investment from, I believe, the Edison organization, and now they are operating relationships, financial transactions in 60 countries, and I believe overall they have approaching 5,000 employees. It's a wonderful example of a public-private partnership that has led to a company growing and creating jobs. So we're not where we ought to be, but I do believe that with the passage of the Third Frontier program and with the kind of activities that are ongoing with our Department of Development, we are starting to see the signs of economic recovery. And so I will continue